Clemson University is a historic site. Originally John C. Calhoun's Fort Hill Plantation, the mansion and surrounding areas today still hold the treasures and memories from the days of slavery. Before the opening of Clemson University in 1893, African Americans were slaves, sharecroppers, wage workers, and convict laborers. The famous clock tower, first named Main Building, was renamed after Benjamin Tillman in 1946. After the passing of Thomas Clemson, an $80,000 endowment was left for the creation of an agricultural school in Clemson, which Tillman accomplished, establishing Clemson College. With the successful establishment, Tillman and his White Farmers Alliance pushed him to become governor in 1890. His political journey and reputation was marked by racism and white supremacy. Tillman was a proud participant in the Hamburg Massacre, a violent act where 7 men were left dead, 6 of them being African Americans. He was also a member of the Red Shirts, a terrorist group of white supremacists formed after the breakup of the Ku Klux Klan. Clemson University was desegregated in 1963, when Harvey Gantt became the first African American student to enroll after winning a lawsuit. Over 50 years have passed, however, and only 6% of the Clemson University population are African American, and 4% are Hispanic. There are currently several departments in Clemson University working to promote an inclusive and supportive campus and community environment. So, I decided to interview some of the people who are working hard to really make an impact. Faculty Development and Diversity Coordinator, Dr. Curtis White, and Associate Director for Hispanic Outreach, Julio Hernandez. I also interviewed faculty and staff from different ethnicities, hoping to learn more about their backgrounds, any challenges they faced in school or work due to their race, and ultimately how they feel working at Clemson University. The focus of this interview was to see how confidently these people believe whether Clemson has achieved its goal of diversity and inclusion.
My name is Curtis White. I've been here at the university since 1989, on and off. Took early retirement in 2010, and then I returned in 2014. Grew up here in South Carolina in what we call the Low State, down in Horry County, which is the Myrtle Beach Conway area. Finished the public school system down there. I did my undergraduate here at Clemson, and then I left to go to graduate school in the University of Missouri, Columbia campus, and I worked a few jobs in between, and I came here in 1989.
My name is Julio Cesar Hernandez. I'm originally from, I was born in McAllen, Texas. Grew up in San Antonio, Texas. That's where I went to school. I'm the first one in my family to be born in the U.S. And eventually my parents became citizens. I remember being 12 years old and helping my mom take the citizenship test, and my dad too. And so I remember going over the questions. We submitted the application, and it took about 2 years, and we never thought we were going to get a call back. Nothing's more discouraging. You submit something, and a year goes by and nothing happens, and almost 2 years something, and you almost forgot about it until the day you get a letter. My parents got a letter saying they were set up for an interview. And I remember being about 10 years old and being across the table just like I am with you, and I said, "Mamá, vamos a estudiar. You gotta learn the 13 colonies. You gotta learn what the 50 stars represent and all of those exams." And now my parents are citizens, but I say that because being the first everything. I was the first one pass, make it to 5th grade, the first one to go to middle school, the first one to go to high school, the first one to have lockers, the first one to take my SAT, the first one to go to even to this very day, I'm always the first, and that could be exciting, and at the same time it could be, I reflect a lot about what else I can do to help others to ensure that they have those experiences like I've had.
I'm Andrew Neptune, and I'm from the Caribbean, Grenada specifically, small island close to Trinidad and Tobago, just over Venezuela. And I'm the last of 4 kids. I have 1 brother, 2 sisters. I'm the second to go to college. My oldest sister went to did some medical school, did an undergrad, and I came to South Carolina, did my undergrad in engineering science. Then I came to Clemson, and I did my master's in civil engineering. Came back and I did a PhD in civil engineering, and graduated in 2013. Worked for about a year and a half, or a year, with Tri-County, just up the road, as an adjunct instructor for general engineering. And then this is my 4th year with Clemson, the general engineering department.
Did you ever face any racial issues, perhaps in jobs or in school, especially back in the day?
Faced them all the time. And when I say I faced them all the time, there's always vestiges of you not being good enough. But as I was telling one of my colleagues earlier this morning, sometimes you just have to dig deeper and know that you're better and know that you do belong. And when you do that and you continue to gain, nobody can take that education from you, buddy. And when you have that, you know you have it, then you can use it.
I like that.
To your benefit.
I grew up in a very gang-infested area, and when my mom and dad weren't around as far as working, when you're around gangs, you're either gonna fight, against them, or you're gonna be trying to, be halfway there, blend in or something. And so I got into trouble a little bit, but then I changed my path around when I was in my senior year. I remember one particular event where I was supposed to be, in a fight, and I was late to the fight because of my tardiness. I was an ISS or something like that, and I didn't make it, and as a result, my friend died. And went to my guidance counselor the next day. He said, "Julio, how you doing?" And he was like, "I'm doing okay." He said, "Are you going to go to college?" And I said, "Nobody wants me, Mr. Lopez. My grades are so. Who's going to want me?" And I had been, Pablo, rock bottom, because growing in the neighborhoods that I was, I heard about college. But for me, you had to be really, really, really smart, which my grades didn't show, or you had to have some money like in the bank account, which we didn't have. We lived in a very poor house, and so I reflect about a lot where I came from and my circumstances. But now where I'm at now, where I report to the vice president, and I work with all the divisions and all the vice presidents at Clemson on helping more Latinos go to college. And when I look at the tables that I'm at now versus the table that I used to eat at, the table for 4, we didn't even have 4 chairs.
We all struggle a little bit with difference. When something is different, it makes it a little more challenging to engage with that. All right, because it pulls you out of your comfort zone.
Right.
So in regards to communication with people, sometimes you could feel a little bit marginalized because people, they realize you're different from looks, and sometimes it appears like they recalculate how to communicate with you, and if they can't come up with something, it's easier to avoid. All right. One of the things that I have learned to help with that, I have to take the initiative and to help people to be comfortable in engaging in something that's different, engaging in someone that's different.
There's no question about the fact that we're not where we need to be, but I can honestly tell you, having been a student here in the 70s and then coming back on faculty in the 80s, and now we're here in the 2000s, I can honestly tell you that there's been tremendous change. Are we where we need to be? No. But the needle is moving, and is moving in a positive fashion. As a student, I faced a lot of things in the classroom because, again, being a first generation, being African American, and being in agriculture in the 70s, Yes, I faced it over there. But you know what? I found some of those individuals to be some of my best friends today.
Clemson has done a lot of good things, and they are. When you look at our website, the Clemson Forward Plan, they have written their plan on a piece of paper. They're saying this is where we're going to be, and this is how we're going to do it. Again, if this was a colleague or friend, like that's pretty cool. I mean, how many of our friends put plans, write down their business plan, and we've seen it. You know, one of the things that Clemson has done, they've created this position. Director of Hispanic Outreach. When you look at all the colleges and universities across the South Carolina, the state, there's not a position like this in any of these offices. They lump them with something else, multicultural programs or diversity, whatever. But there's not a specific position to ensure that Hispanics across the state make it to college. Staff that people, Hispanics that want to work at university, come here and work, or that if you want to be a professor here, that you could have a classroom and then and retire here. And there's not a position in South Carolina like this that creates an opportunity to go into communities to serve and talk about some of the issues that impact Latinos from going to and through college. And then when you look at across the country, it's very rare. So when somebody asks me, where does Clemson stand, I can always say just con hechos, with actions. Look what they're doing, and as a result, within the last 2 years, we have seen now Clemson Hispanic enrollment doubled. We had prior to I arrived 600 Hispanic students, both undergraduate and graduate. Now, starting in this semester, we have 1,200. And it's 1,000 undergrad and approximately about 200 graduate students. And then we've increased Hispanic faculty by 5%. We're not done yet. We still got a lot of work to do, but I like where we're at. Where we've let that back grade, some of the stuff that we did before, and say, you know what, I learned my lesson. Like this is not a place where I want to be. This is where I want to go.
Clemson has a lot of work to do, and one of the things I want for the school and myself and everybody involved is to know what is the real benefit of diversity. And I believe the benefit of diversity is that you get more people from different backgrounds involved in solving our world's problems. And when more people are involved in solving the problem, more people feel responsible for sharing the solution and sharing it in the correct way so that everybody benefits.